Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we're doing another Kaladesh Draft League. If you like the content on this channel, please subscribe and like the videos. Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Inez27. Alright. We have Authority of the Consoles. Not going to first pick that. I guess it's basically between Revoke Privileges and Welding Sparks. Now, Revoke Privileges deals with more things, but I think I actually like Welding Sparks more. We've got the mechanic in this format, which is a good way to get around Revoke Privileges. A lot of people main deck the unnatural, I forget the name of it now, but the 3-mana destroy an artifact or an enchantment, gain 2 life. So I think I just like Welding Sparks more. Welding Sparks is also, I think, better because you can do it in response to a combat trick, whereas you really can't do that with Revoke Privileges. So I guess that one's debatable, but I'm going to take the Sparks over the Privileges. Ooh, well, oh, there it is. Appetite for the Unnatural. I just said Unnatural. So in red, we don't have much, but Voltaic Brawler is a very strong card. I've gotten a chance to play this. This is one of those cards where it's like, I guess I don't know if what's going on in Constructed right now, but this card feels like it absolutely should be played in Constructed. Like a 2-mana 3/2, okay, whatever, right? Still pretty good. Pretty good. Then at least attack for 2 turns as a 4/3 trample. Like, this is so pushing the limits of a 2-drop, let alone the fact that it's an uncommon. I really don't understand why they did this. This is such a powerful card. So I think we're going to take the Brawler here. It is 2-color, and a lot safer pick would be the Skiff, but the Brawler is just so good if you end up in red-green that I kind of just want it here. Oh, wow, and then we're past Depala. All right. Well, I guess we have some options then. I'll take her. She's very good. She's even possibly more exciting than the Voltaic Brawler. So I guess we have 2 options we can go. All we know is we want to be red. Is there anything else insane in here? I like the Gear Shift Ace. There's not a good red card, sadly, but we'll take Depala. Ooh, well, then we're past the Veteran Motorist. That's even more incentive to go red-white. Okay. Impeccable timing in here as well. Honestly, no good mono red cards after the Welding Sparks, which is a little bit worrisome if we're basically have to be red. But Veteran Motorist is very good, so we'll definitely take it. And it happens to be a dwarf as well, so very cool. What else does this do? Whenever it becomes tapped, you can put dwarf in vehicle cards. That's cool. All right, we could take the Inspiring Vantage now. I don't have a problem with that, actually. That seems fine. It's probably got a little bit of ticket value to it. And let's see what it's worth. Let's see what it's worth. God, I can't spell right now. Let's see. Close to 2 tickets. Yeah, I mean, we can take it. There's really not anything else. Well, I guess Hunt the Week is actually very good. But I don't know. I kind of want to be the red-white a little bit more. Is that wrong? I've got 2 good, rare and uncommon in it. All right, let's take the Vantage. All right, so we can be red-white aggro, and I like the Infiltrator more for that deck than the Fireweaver. Built to Smash is probably pretty good too. Just push some extra damage through, as well as Herald of the Fair. But let's take the Spireside Infiltrator, which I think is pretty aggressive. At least it's good to see some actual playable red cards this late, at least. Okay. Pioneer. We also have the combat trick, but Pioneer's a very good card, so we'll take it. Not a dwarf, unfortunately, but that is okay. I'm probably ready to just full-on commit to red-white if I can. Okay, so we can take the Goggles, which I guess just works with our Pioneer right now in terms of attaching itself. We also could take the Built to Last. None of our guys are artifacts, but it's still a good combat trick. I think we'll take the goggles. There's plenty of artificers in red and white. Built to last and built to smash in here too. I think I like the last more. Being able to do it whenever you want is pretty important. But we'll take the goggles. They're good. Alright, I guess we wield the authority of the consoles. I mean, this card's playable. The problem is it's not what you want to... Well, it kind of is what you want to do, but gaining life doesn't really matter for an aggro deck. But creatures entering tapped is certainly... Yeah, you know, this card might just be playable. I mean, that effect is pretty nice when you've got high power creatures that want to push damage through. Consulate Surveillance, on the other hand, not really what we want to do. So we'll take the Harrier. Alright. A late Cathartic Reunion and Ninth Bridge Patrol. I think we'll take the Patrol. It's not... Admittedly, it's not aggressive, but it is a dwarf, which is nice with Depala. And I think it's a fine card in general. It's just not amazing. Alright. Ruinous Gremlin. Playable, not exciting. Alright, get another Patrol. So, we've got a game plan. We have some pretty powerful cards in red and white, or specifically red-white cards. Alright, somebody can take the Blade Master. So, should be able to make this deck work. We only have, what, one removal spell so far? Another Inspiring Vantage. Well, we're going to take the second Welding Sparks, because the card is just good, regardless of whether you have artifacts or not. And we certainly don't have many, right? We've got the Pioneer and the Goggles, but we're going to take the Sparks, passing a Snare Thopter and a Sky Skiff, both of which would be good for the deck, especially with a Depala. Well, I guess Snare Thopter doesn't need Depala, but Sky Skiff kind of wants it. But we're going to take the Sparks because removal is good. Okay, so we have Fire Weaver, which isn't looking that great. It is an Artificer for Goggles, but I mean, I might just want it anyway. It's a cool strategy. Impeccable Timing seems like something this deck might want. If we're playing creatures early, you want to be able to just get blockers out of the way. It's not spot removal, which is much better for pushing damage through, but it's still very good. And I think we are going to take it over the Fire Weaver here. I mean, it's still certainly early enough where I could find some more artifacts, right? Yeah, it is. And the more artifacts I get, the better Welding Sparks gets. But we only have 2 removal spells so far, 8 creatures. I mean, Impeccable Timing is fine. I think we'll take it. I actually don't know. I mean, that's kind of tough. Fireweaver can push some damage through. Alright, I changed my mind. We'll try the Fireweaver out. We'll hope we can get enough artifacts. So now I think we'll take the Artisan over the Ibex and the Cogworker's Puzzle Knot. Glint Sleeve Artisan is good. A Thriving Rhino in here as well. Also good. Okay. There's a Mechanic, which is a dwarf. So I can take that over the Patrol, but third Welding Sparks, yes, please. Also, Weld Fast Monitor in here, which would be good, but I'll take Infinite Welding Sparks, definitely. Okay, so we can take a second Infiltrator, or we can take our first Fanatic. I kind of like the Fanatic, especially since it's a... Well, unfortunately, she does not boost pilots, but he's still good. Or is it a she? It looks like a she. So 2 mana, 2/1 haste. I like it. I think the Infiltrator's good too, like I said, but 2 drops are kind of a premium, and 2 drops with haste for an aggro deck seems like a real premium. We will like some vehicles, but if we can't get it, we can't. Alright, so we'll take a second Fireweaver and still hope that we can find some more artifacts. Even playing a turn 1 Goggles into a turn 2 Fireweaver is pretty good. Okay, so we can take the Monitor, we can take the Built to Smash. I think we probably want the Monitor. We have Artifacts Matters cards a lot now. And this, I've been pretty impressed with this card. It's a good card for pushing damage through as well. I did want to pick up some Built to Smashes and Built to Last, but take that. Okay, well, getting impeccable timing. There's also another Goggles. Goggles works well with our Sparks, our Fireweavers, their Artificers. We have 4 Artificers right now, which is not bad. But kind of looking at the impeccable timing because we're close to enough creatures. So getting more removal would be okay, but we have 3 Welding Sparks. Let's just take the Goggles. See if how much we can go off with these Goggles. All right, so we can take the Puzzle Knot now. There's a Herald of the Fair, and there's another opportunity to take the Built to Smash. Built to Smash really does push some damage through. Puzzle Knot's going to work really well with the Fireweavers and the Welding Sparks. Basically, you play this for 2 mana, and you already have 2 artifacts. This is 3 damage. It's like a lightning bolt with Fireweaver. That's pretty good synergy. Built to Smash, basically, it is just a good pump spell, but I think we're actually going to go Puzzle Knot here. It just seems like the right deck for it with 5 cards that benefit fairly greatly from it. So we can take the Assistant. I think it's pretty unlikely we play the Terror of the Fairgrounds. To be honest, I don't even really want to play... I really don't want to play 2 Ninth Bridge Patrols, and I probably don't even want a main deck of Ruinous Gremlin. If I'm just going to start... Even Authority of the Consoles is something I'm pretty willing to cut. So I'm going to take the Assistant, not because it's good in our deck now, but if we find some bomb that I want to bring back, all right, I'll play multiple Puzzle Knots with multiple Fireweavers. I am okay with that, and Welding Sparks. All right, getting the Mechanic back is excellent. It's also an Artificer. I mean, just in the last draft, turn 1 Goggles, turn 2 3/5 is just really strong. All the Goggles? That's pretty cool. I think the chances of me playing that many Goggles are pretty unlikely. I like that Depala can make Aradar Express a 9/7. And then with the Motorist, we've got ourselves a 10/7 or 10/8. Is Gonti worth anything? I honestly don't know. But it looks like we're going to take that. No, it's not. It looks like we're going to take that Renegade Freighter. It's pretty perfect for what we want to do. Besides being a ridiculously aggressive card, its synergy with Speedway Fanatic is insane. Synergizes with Welding Sparks, synergizes with Depala, synergizes with Fireweaver. Like, this is like the card our deck sort of needed. Perfect Aradar Express upgrade. And Assistant got better there too. All right, Motorist number 2. Yes, please. All the Motorists. So that's cool. Yeah, we can probably ditch the Patrol at this point. Maybe the Authority. I was on the fence about this card anyway, but I kind of wanted to give it a try just because it really does push a lot of damage through. No, I mean, it doesn't push damage through. It lets you push damage through. Let's take the Motorist. We'll figure out cuts afterwards. Okay. So 3rd Fireweaver... We probably just straight up have enough artifacts at this point. So our removal, yeah, let's just bank on 3. I think we're just going to hope 3 Welding Sparks is enough, or that we find a later impeccable timing. Because now I just really want to go off on these Fireweavers. Okay, so we have Exhibition, excellent Fireweaver and Welding Spark synergy once again. We have Pyrohelix, which is cheap removal. We have Puzzle Knot, which is good synergy, and Pioneer, which flies, is an Artificer, makes artifacts. Jeez. Here's a pick, huh? I mean, I can take the Pyrohelix. I probably just want the Pioneer, though. It has the best synergy with everything, right? Synergizes with Fireweaver, synergizes with Welding Sparks, synergizes with Goggles. Synergizes with like 9 cards in our deck. Pyrohelix is just something to do cheap. It's cheap removal. I'm going to take the Pioneer here. I think that's right. Okay, so Acrobatic Maneuver. We do have some Enter the Battlefield effects, which makes Acrobatic Maneuver better. I kind of just want to take the second Infiltrator and really go off on getting as aggressive as we can and making a low curve deck. So I think I'm going to take the Infiltrator. I do think the maneuver is very good. I've been impressed with it. Okay, Doorbuster is good. There's also Fragmentize. I mean, Doorbuster lets you also get in past blockers too, which is just really good. Renegade Tactics does as well. Fragmentize, I mean, I already have the Ruinous Gremlin. They're both potentially main deckable, although I kind of just don't want to main deck either of them. I think we're actually going to just take Doorbuster. The card's good. We can take Hijack, sure. It's also another Workshop Assistant, but we're going to take the Hijack. I'm not going to main deck it. Seems like it's a good sideboard card, though. So, Infiltrator number 3. We can go deep on Infiltrators. I'm perfectly fine with that. Starter Engines, also pretty cool, but take the Infiltrator. We have so many creatures in this deck. A good problem to have. All right. Take the Aradar Express. All aboard. All the Infiltrators? Actually, this time we're going to take the Built to Last. I'd like a nice combat trick. Okay. I think 3 goggles will do, so we'll take the charge. Although, I'm not even... Well, ooh, got the Puzzle Knot back, too? Jeez. This deck's really good. We have a lot of good action in this deck. We only ended up with 1 vehicle, but at least it's like the best vehicle you can ask for at common, right? So we have a lot of cuts to make, but we have a lot of powerhouse cards in here as well. So, whatever, I'll take the rebuff now. No last pick rebuff for you, opponents. So this seems like we could easily go 16 lands if I just cut things correctly. Like, we have 20 creatures, so there's just plenty of things at the top end we can cut. Like, I'm totally willing to just ditch the Harrier, the Charge, and the Terror. And just, I guess, still have to make a lot of cuts. I mean, we even have 20 creatures if you include the Puzzle Knots, which you probably should. So we can ditch the 9th Bridge Patrol. It does have synergy with the Depala, but I don't really care. I think we're going to ditch the Workshop Assistant because it's pretty mediocre in an aggressive deck. Still have to make 5 more cuts. I wanted to try the Authority of the Consuls. This really does seem like a cool card for aggro, but I just think everything else we're doing is so much better that I'd rather just cut it. Like, I might not even have to or be able to run 3 goggles. I kind of like that Puzzle Knots, like a shock with the Fireweaver. But even Puzzle Knots fairly unexciting. Built to Last is just a cheap combat trick, which is actually pretty good. Like, you really can't complain about a cheap combat trick. And remember, we do have this Inspiring Vantage as well, which is cool. So I don't think we're going to play Aradara, whatever it is, Express. But I do think that we're just going to cut 3 more cards and play a 16 land deck. So, what shall we cut? Remember, these are creatures that are pretty awesome with Fireweavers and Welding Sparks. Maybe we just diversify and play 1 Puzzle Knot, 1 Fireforger's Puzzle Knot, 1 Cogworker, 1 Fireforger. Because they both kind of do different things. And we don't really get a lot of value out of the 1/1s after we just have them. Like, they make our Welding Sparks better. They deal their 1 damage when they come in. But after that, they're just 1/1s. Maybe we equip them with goggles. Make them little 2/3s. Still not that exciting, but certainly. Why don't we do an artifact count? And we can count anything that makes artifacts as well. So let's figure this out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 is pretty good. I could cut an Infiltrator. It's a very aggressive card, though, which I like. Like, pushing 4 damage through on attacks is really nice. But maybe we focus on synergies, like the Fire Weavers. Just getting enough damage there. Mechanic doesn't have a ton of value in this deck. It lets us basically... It's too good to cut with triple goggles, though, and I kind of do just want to play triple goggles. I know it's crazy. Freighter's another creature, too. Like, we can just pretty easily cut creatures from this deck, and it won't affect us very much at all. To be perfectly honest, I actually think Inspired Charge is really good in this deck, just because we have just a metric ton of creatures. And they make our Cogworkers Puzzle Knots better, too. Like, we could just win a game off Inspired Charge pretty easily. So maybe we cut... Let's just ditch the Fireforger's Puzzle Knot. I actually do like the card, but I think we're just going to ditch it. Maybe we ditch a Infiltrator. I really like it. It's good and aggressive, but I'm not sure if it's what I want. I could ditch the Speedway Fanatic, but just the idea of Speedway Fanatic into Renegade Freighter is, like, ridiculous. And I've had that happen against me, too. It's so good. It's so strong. So we have to cut 2 more cards, and they should probably be creatures, because we're still rocking, like, 18 creatures. Maybe we just do ditch the charge. I want it really bad, but I think we're just going to push damage through other ways if we can. Maybe I cut one of the Puzzle Knots. That brings us down to 9 artifacts, I think. Right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it would bring us down to 9 if I cut a Puzzle Knot. But at the same time, 9 is still good, and this deck is still very strong. Yeah, this deck is strong. Looks good. Just run it like this. What's Deposit ability again? Whenever it becomes tapped, pay that. Reveal top X cards, but all dwarf and vehicles. What do we have for dwarves? 2, 3, 4. 4? Not a lot, but you can pay as much as you want, which is cool. Oh, and the freighter, too. So we have, like, between dwarves and vehicles, we have 5 cards. It's not bad. It's not great either, but still, Depala is just fine as the 3 mana 3/3. So, yeah. So I think we're going to run the deck like this, which is cool. So let's do it. Let's bring in the Inspiring Vantage. And we still need white on turn 2, so I think we're going to do air towards red slightly. But we still end up with 9 red, 8 white, which is good. So here you have it. Red-white aggro. Very low curve. I think it might be the first deck in the format I've run 16 lands with, so you all get to see that. All right, let's try her out, shall we? We'll see you round 1.